Hi, welcome to another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. Today, I'm going to hopefully attempt number 2 of the experiment episode. Because the previous episode was supposed to be called The Experiment, as you probably realized if you listened to that one first. And hey, we just got to trust and go with the flow. I think the other episode came out great. It's trying to find the better version of yourself is the new title. So, touche. Just got to trust. You know, it probably sounds like it. When I say this, people will be like, yeah, I know. But I don't prepare. I don't have a script or nothing. I just try to flow and just go with the flow and feel things and just talk about it to see what people need to hear. And it helps me too, because as I'm talking about things, it just benefits me as well. And it puts more certainty into the universe of everything I'm believe and that I'm working towards and everything. But back to the experiment. So everybody, if you're not sure about the law of attraction, then this is for you to do an experiment with. But everybody who's seasoned into it and probably can teach me a lot about law of attraction, hey man, we can have fun and do an experiment because it's fun. But you got to find that thing that you want to attract and do it. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experiment, but I'll just give you a little something that I was talking to back at that time. He was 5 years old. He's a little bit older than now, but he just wanted money because he knows he can take money and buy candy. So he realized that at 5 years old, money equals candy. So every time he has a little bit of money, he's like, oh, I'm going to the store to get candy. So we have to put a limit on that. But I digress. I looked at him and said, hey man, you want money? He goes, yeah. I said, so attract it. He's like, what? What does that mean, Dad? So I'm like, well, I'm going to try this on him. So I was like, hey, whatever you want, if you believe, it will happen. He's like, okay. He goes, well, I believe I'm going to just find money. I was like, okay, good luck, buddy. But it was great because we went to the park and he's just playing around. And when he comes back to me, he's like, Dad, look what I found. I found money. Right? I was like, oh, it's like a dime. I was like, cool. Good for you. He found a dime. And then later on, he was at grandma's house. And he's just like, I believe. And I was like, you believe? So I said, okay, here. Give me the money you found earlier at the park. So he gives me the money in my hand. I said, so if I shake my hand and you truly believe that there's going to be more money in here, will there be more money? He goes, yeah. So I'm shaking my hand. And he's like, I believe. I'm like, yeah, you believe. And I'm giggling away. My wife's like, you're so mean. And I'm just like, is there more money? And it's still a dime. He's like, no. I was like, well, you got to believe more. You have to feel it in your heart. And it was great. So little side thing is I do magic. Like I studied magic when I was younger with my brother. I probably heard it in one of our episodes. But yeah. So in the end, I start shaking my hand and he's just going out like, I believe, Dad, I believe. Like, it was great. He's like, it's going to work this time, Dad. It's going to work. I'm like, yeah, I could feel it too. It's going to work. And he really it felt like he poured his whole soul into like, that's going to be more money when you open your hands. So then I'm shaking my hands and I've already slipped in a lot more change in there. And then I'm like, do you hear it? Do you hear it? It's getting louder because I'm letting it loose now through my fingers and you can hear it all clanging. He's like, oh, it's working, Daddy. It's working. He's so excited. I open my hands and just all these coins in there. He's like, I knew it. I knew. And my wife's like, you're just so mean. I'm like, no. I'm trying to program him for success. I wish my parents did this to me instead of telling me, hey, we're poor. So you're going to be poor. So no matter what, your dreams are broken, son. I wish it was more like, hey, believe anything you want. You can achieve anything you want and you'll have success. Instead of me figuring out for myself. Come on. I'm trying to help my kids here. So yeah. And he's just like on a high now. He's taking all that change. He's like, oh yeah, wherever I go, Dad, there's going to be money everywhere. I could feel it. And I was like, okay. So me and my wife were like, okay, Grandma, bye, Mom. We're going off on a little date night. Can you watch the kids? And she's like, yeah. When we came home, my son is sitting there with probably about $15 at this point. of money, of change. Like in Canada, we have loonies, toonies. A loonie's $1, a toonie's $2, and a lot of quarters, nickels, and dimes. So changes could equal up a lot of money here in Canada. And he even found a $5 bill at one point. And then he's just like so happy. He's like, Daddy, you were right. You're right. That as long as I truly believe it'll happen, might not happen right away, but it'll happen eventually. He goes, I was just playing and my toy fell. And I was just like, oh, I need to get my toy. Went under the stairs. I crawled on the stairs and I found some change and I found money. And then I was telling Grandma and I was telling my sisters, look what I found. Like, it's working. And he just kept on looking around like, I'm going to find change. Right. And then he kept on looking and just like, I'm going to attract it. And there's more change he was finding everywhere. They also went to the park at one point, and then he found a lot of change, came back, and he's just like, I'm finding money. To the point where, okay, you know, my mother-in-law is putting change different places at this point because she's so happy for my son freaking out that I'm attracting it. So she started putting money out, and I'm like, Grandma, you didn't have to do that. You know, she's like, no, it was just awesome. And she's like taking pictures, videotaping him. It's crazy. But if we have that amount of hope and believe that no matter what we want, what we're going to attract is going to work, then your experiment will work 1,000%. So here's my experiment. I'm telling you now, going to the casinos is high risk, stuff like that. Only go with what you're willing to lose. And if you come out with more money, then you're doing good. But my experiment was, people say you can never win at the casino with the slot machines. So I'm going to pick the hardest thing, and I'm going to be like, okay, I believe that I'm going to find money in the casino and that I'm going to come out with more money. So I started with $100 bill. I talked to my wife. I'm like, hey, I'm starting with a $100 bill. If I lose it, I'm done. She's like, okay, I'll see you in 5 minutes. I says, hey, it takes 5 minutes to get there. I'll be back in at least 10 or 11 minutes. But then I started believing like I did with my son, right? Do you believe? I believe, right? This is awesome. So I'm trying to like channel my inner child going, okay, everybody tells me you go to these casinos to lose. And every time you hear somebody that wins, it's like, oh, I just went by and I was like, hey, I never do this. I'm going to go there, have a date night or just go for fun. I put $20 in the machine and I won. Because they're not chasing anything. That's why they win. They don't care. They give up. They're just going to go have fun with their life and just felt like they listened to their higher self, listened to their gut. They went there, just felt like I should buy a ticket. Just felt like I should have stopped at the casino and put money in this machine, and I pulled it and I hit $1,200. I hit $1,000 or whatever. So I'm just trying to channel that. I'm just like, you know what? The casino for me is going to be a place where I'm going to go and win. I'm not even going to win. I'm just going to go get what the universe is going to give me, and that's all there is to it. So this is how it went with my first time. I walked in. I'm like, hello, I'd like to register for your card, please, because I felt like I should, because you get free stuff. So I get like $10 for free to play, and I'm like, oh. And then I walk into the washroom, wash my hands, and then I saw a guy come in, and I was like, hey, man, you doing great out there? You're winning? And listen very carefully to, I'm saying exactly what he told me, verbatim, word for word. Oh, I always lose. I just come here just for fun, and yeah, I never win. I always lose, man. So you should run while you can, because, well, you're just going to donate it to the casino. That's how it works, right? I never win. So right there, I'm like, of course you're never going to win. You're programming yourself to be like, hey, I never win. I'm a loser, so I'm just here to donate money. So the universe is going to hook you up with what you want, because it doesn't know the difference, good or bad. It's just like, hey, this guy's always talking about losing. This guy's always talking about donating. Well, he's donating. And I was like, oh, well, I wish you luck, buddy, good vibes. Woo. And then he's like, good luck out there, I guess, I was like, yep. So I went and found a machine. I sat down. I put in a few 20s. And then I was like, well, just going to trust, close my eyes, just shuffle my hands around and just hit a button. And it turned out to be like max bet, which was only $8.80 a spin. So I boom, hit it. I did that a few times. Just trust the universe. Just respin. And then a few spins in, I got these free games. I'm there like, I'm not trying to win. I'm just there like talking to people beside me like, hey, you guys doing good? Like, no. They're like, no, I'm losing money. And I'm like, well, here you go. Good vibes, right? It's time for you to win, not time for you to lose money, because I'm here to help me make money and everybody around me make money. And they're like, okay, I hope it rubs off on me, right? And then he gets free games, and I'm all like, whatever happens, happens. So once it tells you to pick, like, do you want 3 spins? Do you want 10 spins, 15 spins? But then it like shrinks or something, or it gets bigger if you choose less. And I just closed my eyes, hit whatever. And then it was only 3 spins. But then started doing all these re-triggers and stuff. And then before you know it, I won $2,500. And I'm just like, oh, look at me, I'm a winner. Woo! And then people beside me are like, what's going on? And then while I was waiting, because they come and the machine stops working, and then it just says, like, wait for attendant. They come and they say, they take a note. They write down how much they're going to go back to the cash box, get you some money, and probably verify security that it wasn't like a cheat or whatever, and then they pay you. So while I was waiting, I still had more money, so I put a few 20s in the machine right beside it, same game. Within 2 spins of hitting max bet, because that's what I felt like, just trusting, I got another free game, and then, I won another, like, little jackpot. And I'm like, hey, look. And the guy comes around, hearing what the ruckus is that I met in the bathroom earlier. I was on my way out. And he's just like, I wouldn't play those games. I've lost money on those all the time. I never win. And then he stops and looks at the machine. I saw that I won 2 jackpots. And he's like, what? He goes, I can't even win 1. And when I do, it's not big like that. And I was like, well, because I'm not here to gamble. I'm here to pick up a paycheck. I'm here to win. I'm not a loser. And he just started laughing, and everybody around me was like, good luck, good vibes, right? But needless to say, that's, going probably a one-time thing, right? So then I come home, I talk to my wife about it, and she's like, well, it could be a one-time thing. You should try it again. So I went back and tried casino, different games and stuff, and just, I would win here and there, but there's a few things I've learned. And I know this episode is going a little bit long, but bear with me, it gets better. No, joking. But once again, I'm saying, I don't condone going to the casino and losing all your money. You only go there with what you're willing to lose. But in the end, there's a few things I've learned about the law of attraction. First thing is, I got greedy. I lost everything. There was nights where I won probably like $5,500, $6,500. I started getting all like, I'm going to win everything. I'm greedy, right? Person beside me that I was playing machine earlier lost a little bit of money on, and they win a big jackpot. I seen somebody win like 10, 15 grand beside me. I was like, what? How come I didn't win that? And I get all grumpy instead of happy for them. And then what do you think happens? The opposite. Now I'm feeding these machines, and now I'm losing everything. So I learned a lot about when I become all greedy, you lose. And it's funny how it works, because as much as you're just losing, you're just still hitting the machines, you're getting grumpy, you're getting angry with yourself, and, you lose the money. But, I'm losing the casino's money. Or I lose my $100 that I started with. I'm like, okay, I'm done. But another thing I learned is when I was chasing, I'm like, I need to win. I never won. Or when I became like a pompous, like, hey, look at me, I'm going to win the 30 grand today because I'm awesome, I'm amazing, right? And become like a douchebag or something, and then arrogant, and then I noticed I would lose. So one time, for part of my experiment, I went to a table game, because people are like, take your experiment to the table games there, Mr. Law of Attraction, that everything comes easy to you. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went and playing like 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, where you just play against the dealer. You're not playing against people at the table. Everybody's playing against the dealer. And I knew nothing about how to play. I learned, and I would try. And I would be talking, when it's just me and the dealer, I'll be talking to the dealer about Law of Attraction. And I'll be like, here's an experiment for you. I'm like, Law of Attraction 101. I said, I've been trying to win, and I've been losing almost every hand. She's like, okay, yeah. Like, I've never seen somebody with such bad luck. I'm like, yeah. But now I'm not even going to give a crap. I said, I'm not even going to look at the cards. I'm going to put a side bet for you. So a side bet on like a bonus is if when I hit that bonus, like get 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind, like, or full house or something, it pays up pretty well. And then the dealer will get the money I put a side bet on for them. They keep the money, and I get all the rest of the money. And I'm like, how many times in a row have you ever seen somebody get full houses? And she was like twice. That's it. You get 2 full houses, maybe. That's it. I said, okay, well, I'm going to get 3. So, what? I said, yeah, right now we're going to get 3 full houses, and then I'm going to win these jackpots so that you're going to get your payout because I'm doing side bets for you. And I'm not going to care about the outcome. I don't care. I'm just going to trust. I trust the universe, law of attraction. I trust it. I'm not caring. I want you to win, so I'm putting money down for you because I want you to win, and as well as I'll win on the other stuff. She's like, okay, let's see your law of attraction. And she dealt the cards out. Didn't even look at them. And she looks at the spread. She's like, okay, I qualify. And then she flips over my cards. And then, yeah, sure enough, full house. And she's like, okay, that was luck. I was like, yeah, it's going to happen again. And sure enough, second hand, full house. Third hand, full house. And she's just like, this is crazy. She's like, I've never seen this in my life, I said, now I'm going to care and try to play. And I'm going to win a lot of money. And I'm going to really try right now. And I'm not going to win. And sure enough, I started doing that. I was like, I'm just going to max bet on everything. And I'm going to really try. And I didn't win nothing. I said, okay, now I'm going to put a side bet for you. I'm not going to care. And I want you to win. And then I started winning on the side bets. Like, call it what you want. A lot of people say, like, I got a horseshoe up my butt. And the joke is, I said, oh, yeah, when I was younger, a horse kicked me. And the shoe's still up there to this day. But no, that's how I decided to test the law of attraction. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to go to the casino and make millions doing this. Like, no, not at all. Like, it's high risk. I've lost a lot of the money I've won learning with this experiment, but just feeling how it works, where I got to just trust the flow, not try to chase anything. I'm not trying to chase money, because when I started chasing money at the casino, I started losing. When I not chasing it, just let the flow, it happens. If I went too often, I'm like, okay, flow every day, right? And then, just whatever. But that was the experiment I chose. So I encourage everybody to think of an experiment. So if you want to try to be like, okay, well, I want to see a rare animal that you never see. Some people might be like, okay, I've never seen a moose before. I want to see a moose on the side of the road in nature. And put that out there and trust and whatever. You don't have to go to the extreme I did. Take $100 to go to the casino. You don't have to do anything like that. But just put out there, test the law of attraction. You have to, believe that whatever intentions you're setting is going to happen. You got to act like it already happened, right? And that the world's your oyster. You got to just, like I mentioned in the previous episode, you got to find your best self. You got to just trust and go with your best self. Don't overthink anything. If you feel the universe pulling in your direction, do it. Don't take so long. Like, I've took years before I started recording these episodes, and I'm sure if I started a long time ago, I would achieve and be where I feel the universe is taking me. Maybe doing shows, traveling around the world, talking at different events or doing online events. But in the end, just go with the flow. Trust your higher self, trust your gut, trust whatever you want to call it. Just trust it. Find your experiment and test it. I can only tell you that'll be the best thing that'll ever happen to you if you start believing that it will. Like my son with the coins, just got to go. But if this is not your thing, hey, it's not your thing. I want everybody to find their thing. So you go find your thing. But still, please listen to these episodes because it helps us out. And once again, this is Life Changer, and my name is Mike. Thank you.